Remember to turn on all notifications so you don't miss a video. I take your favorite manga, leave it crying in the corner, cause I ain't in a sorta, kinda, dissing fellas on border, line addicted to slaughter. Dr. Yume is back to dissect the Chunin exams arc using story theory. This will be the last part in this series. Setting is one of the 4 pillars of story. The setting is developed a lot during this arc. I won't go into the specifics of each factor because this isn't a recap of the arc. These things are explained in the story, so I don't need to explain them a second time. The Chunin exams is introduced as not just a way to rank up, but also a way to connect the ninja villages. The different ninja teams in Konoha and their teachers are shown alongside teams from other villages. More villages are introduced apart from Konoha and Mizu in the first arc. Several clans like the Hyuga, Inuzuka, Nara, and Aburame are introduced, each with their own clan jutsu. New major antagonists like Orochimaru, Kabuto, and Gaara show up. Jiraiya and the concept of the Sannin make their appearance. Summoning jutsu is gone into more detail after Kakashi used it in the first arc. Walking on water is another ninja basic, similar to tree climbing. The curse mark shows up. Chapter 95 has a treaty of alliance between the fire and wind that includes the daimyos, shinobi economics, and manufactured ninja like Gaara. In Chapter 137, parent of clan members in the exam show up to join the battle, like Hyuga, Nara, Yamanaka, Akimichi, Aburame, and Inuzaka. Suna and Oto's alliance is also elaborated on in Chapter 92. Most of these details play an important role in the plot of the arc, apart from fleshing out the world. In my video, Genre Deep Dive, I came up with a term called genre goals. I'll define this as a type of entertainment unique to stories in a particular genre. For example, a comedy's genre goal would be making the audience laugh with comedy. A romance's genre goal would be making the audience feel heartwarmed with romance. An action's genre goal would be exciting the audience with action. Since Naruto is a battle story, its genre goal would be cool and exciting fight scenes. As I explained in my genre video, I realized that this was important because if a comedy doesn't make me laugh, I believe it is failing at being a comedy, which would decrease my rating of said story. This showed me that succeeding at genre goals is important and could be even considered the 5th pillar of story. So how well does the arc handle fights? The quantity of the genre's appeal is important. In Naruto's case, that is fights, so I'll measure how often fights happen in comparison to other arcs. I'll be bringing back my events per minute measurement tool that I used before. The plot cycles already show that there's always something interesting going on, but events per minute will reinforce that. What counts as an event? Since this is a battle manga, fighting is the only event I'll count. That makes this fights per chapter. A higher FPC means that the arc had more action relative to its length, which means that it was more entertaining from a frequency standpoint. For the Land of Waves, I'm starting from chapter 9 to skip the prologue. Land of Waves has 25 chapters, 3 fights, and an FPC of 0.12. Chunin Exams has 105 chapters, 26 fights, and an FPC of 0.247. The Tsunade arc has 33 chapters, 3 fights, and an FPC of 0.09. The Sasuke Retrieval arc has 66 chapters, 8 fights, and an FPC of 0.12. For the Chunin exams, approximately every 4 chapters, there's a fight. I don't know what the average fight per chapter ratio is for battle manga, but when putting the exams against Naruto's own arcs, it has the highest FPC. This doesn't take into consideration how good each fight is, but it shows quantity, which is still good. A combination of quantity and quality is important, so I'll also look at the quality of the fights. What makes a good fight is simple. I have videos on it, but the basic requirements are tactics and creativity. The choices the characters make in battle need to make sense, and their abilities need to be unique. Fights with more strategy, creativity, and cool factor will rank higher. The fights that are quick are Naruto vs Kankuro, Naruto and Sasuke vs Lee, Kabuto vs Team Dosu, Sasuke and Naruto vs Imposter, Naruto vs the Snake, Anko vs Orochimaru, Gaara vs Team Shigure, Dosu vs Choji, and Kakashi vs Kabuto. Naruto vs Kankuro is forgettable, but it does hint at Kankuro's powers. Naruto and Sasuke vs Lee is short, but it shows off amazing CQC, which is a form of strategy when done right. See my video titled, What Counts as Strategy in Battle? Kabuto vs Dosu is another unmemorable one, but again, it hints at Dosu's abilities. Sasuke and Naruto versus the Imposter was actually decent. It had strategy from Sasuke when he held the kunai with his foot, putting the tree climbing lessons to use. Naruto vs the Snake was short but showed clever strategy when Naruto used shadow clones to blow up the snake from inside. Anko vs Orochimaru was forgettable. Gaara vs Team Shigure was decent. Both sides had unique jutsu and it had an epic ending with the sand coffin. Dosu vs Choji was silly, but it had tactics on both sides. Both knew the other's ability and came up with a plan to counter it. Kakashi vs Kabuto had a lot of strategy in a short time frame on Kabuto's side, with several decoys. As for the longer fights, nearly all of them are amazing. Team 7 vs Orochimaru is great when Sasuke steps up. His triple windmill attack shows off an incredible level of shuriken jutsu. The Konoha Ninja vs Team Dosu is easily one of the best fights in the arc. It's full of epic moments and has great strategy. Quick examples would be Zaku softening Dosu's drop, Dosu using sound to beat Lee, Sakura using clones and then her real body, Ino Shikacho, and Sasuke putting shurikens in his fire. Team 7 vs Team Oboro also had creativity. There's the genjutsu by the opponent and Naruto creating fakes of his team. Sasuke vs Yoroi had CQC strategy with an epic finale in Lion's Barrage. Shino vs Zaku showed great tactics on Shino's side and also contained unique abilities. Kankuro vs Tsurugi had clever strategies and creative abilities. Sakura vs Ino had smart strategizing on both sides, like Sakura's clones, Ino's fake out jutsu, and her hair trap. Shikamaru vs Keen had creative abilities and 200 IQ planning. It makes great use of its setting. Naruto vs Kiba had good strategy and an epic finale in Uzumaki Barrage. Neji vs Hinata had creative abilities and CQC. Lee vs Gaara had cool powers, CQC, and strategy along with several epic moments. Naruto vs Neji had strategy and moments. Shikamaru vs Temari had clever strategy, once again using the location as an advantage. Sasuke vs Gaara was epic and had good strategy. The same goes for Shino vs Kankuro. Team 7 vs Gaara was probably the most exciting fight and also had a good amount of strategy. Hiruzen vs Orochimaru had a decent amount of strategy. Another thing that these fights have is high stakes, which usually makes the fights more intense and epic. High stakes aren't necessary for a good fight, but for the plot, higher stakes in the context of the plot are desirable, especially as the story continues. High stakes means that the consequences for failure are high. In several of these fights, characters could actually die. In Team 7 vs Orochimaru, the characters could not only fail the exam, but also die. In Konoha vs Team 7, the main characters could have died once again. In Sasuke vs Yoroi, Sasuke could have lost and been eliminated from the exam. In Lee vs Gaara, Lee could have died. In Naruto vs Neji, and Sasuke vs Gaara, the heroes were facing difficult opponents and could have lost and been eliminated after making it so far. In the final Gaara and Orochimaru fights, the heroes' lives were on the line, and Hiruzen actually died at the end of his fight. In my video, Execution and Set Pieces, I talked about execution, set pieces, and moments. Execution is how the story is told with minute details. Set pieces or moments are iconic and memorable scenes. Set pieces usually have the most dramatic and highest level of execution in the story. Both of these make a story more entertaining and are very important. For this section, I'll just list the best set pieces in the arc. Cheating on the exam, Naruto's speech at the end of the written exam, Naruto's return to his team against Orochimaru, Sasuke fighting Orochimaru, Sakura cutting her hair, Sasuke waking up with a curse mark, Naruto and Iruka reuniting, Lion's Barrage, the start of Sakura vs Ino, Naruto's line to Kiba, Uzumaki Barrage, Hinata getting back up against Neji, Naruto challenging Neji, Lee opening the 4th gate, Lee getting back up against Gaara, Naruto summoning Gamabunta, Naruto's uppercut against Neji, Shikamaru checkmating Temari, Sasuke using Chidori, Shikamaru deciding to be the decoy, Naruto Uzumaki 2K Barrage, Naruto's headbutt, and Naruto's speech to Gaara. In conclusion, this arc develops the setting well, it succeeded in satisfying its genre goals, and it has excellent execution. Overall, this arc fires on all cylinders and is easily one of the best super arcs written in the battle genre. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and help me revolutionize the manga industry by buying my manga and spreading the word. All important links will be in the description.